Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It's Sunshine Lorena and I'm going to be taking you through my April TBR today. So it's the 27th of March and I'm finally getting around to filming my April TBR. So some changes this month, guys. So if you have watched any of my TBR videos before, I usually have a jar. I pick 5 prompts from there and kind of pick books based on those prompts. I'm not doing that this month or next month either for May. So I'm going to be doing an Italian exam. So I need to kind of I'm going to be cutting back on my reading basically because I need to do some studying time and try and read in Italian as well. Which that'll be fun. Attempting to read in Italian, very different pacing obviously than reading in English. But yes, so I need to kind of cut back on my reading, you know, because there's just not enough time in the day, guys. Okay, so this month's April's TBR and May's TBR will not be with the jar, but I'm still going to give you TBRs of books that I'm planning to read. We'll see how it goes. April, having said this, I've put my April one together and there's quite a few books in there, guys. I'm not gonna lie, there's quite a few books in April's TBR. There are 2 readathons that I want to take part in April, however, they are very chill. Prompts are really super easy, so I don't necessarily need to read that many books actually to do those 2 readathons, and that is Magical-Hop-Athon round 2. It's going to be based on Disneyland Paris. It's been hosted by Rachel Cheris. I did Magical-Hop-Athon back in October, which was like for Disney's 50th anniversary. And this is for Disneyland Paris's 30th. It was really fun last time, and she's like made it a lot more easier to kind of complete, so I'll take you through that. And then, guys, at the end of the month there is another Ween readathon, and that is Spring Fling-O-Ween, being hosted by Olivia Reads a Latte and Gabby from Gabby Reads. So there basically now there is a Ween readathon every season and I am loving it. Okay, so this is only 4 days this time, so it seems like the October, like the autumn and spring ones are shorter, and then winter Ween and summer Ween are like the week-long ones, but I am loving it. Also, it's going to be taking over place over half Halloween. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun, and again it is super light and super easy prompts. So I'm gonna take you through those 2 first, and then I'll take you through other ones of I'd like to read these and get to these because of whatever reasons, book clubs, readathons, read-alongs, etc. So yeah, so let's just kick it off with a Magical-Hop-Athon, which is running for 2 weeks in April, and so it's from the 11th of April to the 24th of April. I'll leave Rachel's announcement video, so if you're interested, go and check it out. You still have time to take part. So you need to do a park entrance ticket and then 1 other prompt in that park minimum to complete the readathon. That's what I said, super easy. So I have those 2 picked out, and then I have 1, like maybe if there's time, maybe, but maybe not. But so when this readathon is taking place, I do have a lot of plans, so it probably is going to be 2 rather than the 3, but I'll just, you know, I'll let you know. So first of all, I have went for the park entrance ticket for the Disneyland Paris, like the original park, which is read a book that is calling to you. Very open, easy, and I have chosen The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. This is one of the books that I want to reread in 2022. I haven't reread any of that list, so I was like, I need to pick one up. So this is calling to me because, you know, I said I was going to do some rereading, and I don't normally do a lot of rereading, so I absolutely loved this when I read it. I think I've read it a couple times now, but it's been like many years. I think it's been at least 5 years or so since I last read this, so it's gonna be interesting to see if it's still like a favourite, and how I get on. It's really short as well, which is why I also wanted to choose it for the read along. So yeah, there's only 214 pages, so it's a short book. And yeah, I love the film as well. So it's set in North Carolina just after the war. So one of our main characters, Noah, has recently returned from the war. He tries to forget the horrors he's seen and experienced by restoring an old plantation home. But though his days are spent working, his nights too often give way to dreams of his past. 14 years ago, Noah fell in love with a girl, and he's still haunted by her memory, but convinced he'll never find her again. But when the past slips into the present, Noah realises his ghosts are never far away. And I just love this book, guys. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see if I still love it. So that's the first one for Magical-Hop-Athon. The second prompt I chose, and it is an attraction, and that is Big Thunder Mountain, read first in a series. And I have chosen a book that is on one of my 5-star predictions of 2022. I've only just read the first one off that list. I'm so behind on my books, these lists, guys. I'm so behind. But I've chosen The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodore Goss. So this is first in the series, and Victoria from What Victoria Read very kindly gifted me this back in Christmas. So thank you so much. I'm so excited to pick this one up because I have been wanting to read this for like a good, more than a year actually. I think it's been on my list of to reads. So in this one, Mary Jekyll, alone and penniless following her parents' death, quickly finds herself drawn into the secrets of her father's mysterious past. A clue leads her to believe that Edward Hyde, her father's former friend and a murderer, may be nearby, and there is still a reward for information resulting in his capture. A reward that would solve all her immediate financial woes. But her hunt brings her not to Edward Hyde but to Diana, his daughter, a near feral child left to be raised by nuns. With the assistance of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, Mary continues her search for the elusive Hyde and soon gathers around her more women, all of whom have been created through terrifying experimentation. Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreno, and Justine Frankenstein. When their investigations lead them to the discovery of a secret society of immoral and power-crazed scientists, the horrors of their past soon arrive on their doorstep as well. And now it's up to the 5 women to stop the malicious machinations of the Société des Alchimistes. That I totally butchered that. Quite simply, it's time for the monsters to triumph over the monstrous. So yeah, honestly, I have heard so many good things about this book, and I can't wait to get to it. And yeah, I love the fact that it's the daughters basically of all these literally characters from the 19th and 20th century. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really fun, and yeah, I think I'm going to really enjoy it. So these are the 2 that I definitely have to read to complete the readathon. The third, if I get to it, would be nice, is one that then I would hop across to Walt Disney Studios, the second park in Disneyland Paris, and that is Crush's Coaster Read a TBR Fete, because guys, I have a lot of books that I haven't read. And I've chosen The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and I've picked this one because, like I said, I've had it on my Kindle for ages. It's also on the Rory Gilmore list, and if you don't know, I'm trying to read 10 books from the Rory Gilmore list this year, and so far I've read 1, I think, maybe 2, I can't remember. So I'm, I haven't read that many, guys, falling a little bit behind, so I thought this is a great opportunity if I have time in those 2 weeks to pick up Perks of Being a Wallflower. So the synopsis of this one: standing on the fringes of life offers a unique perspective, but there comes a time to see what it looks like from the dance floor. This is a story of what it's like to grow up in high school. More immediate than a diary, Charlie's letters are singular and unique, hilarious and devastating. We may not know where he lives. We may not know to whom he is writing. All we know is the world he shares. Caught between trying to live his life and trying to run from it puts him on a strange course throughout uncharted territory. The world of first dates and mixtapes, family dramas and new friends, the world of sex, drugs and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, when all one requires is that perfect song and that perfect drive to feel infinite. Through Charlie, Stephen Chbosky has created a deeply affecting coming-of-age story, a powerful novel that will spirit you back to those wild and poignant rollercoaster days known as growing up. So yeah, I love the description of that one. I think it sounds really, really fun. I love that synopsis, and like I said, I want to read it because it's a Rory Gilmore book, and we need to, we need to read more of those guys. And then I'm now going to go into Spring Fling-O-Ween, guys. So it's running across 4 days, and that from the 27th of April to the 30th of April, so it's right at the end of the month, which is why I have some other books I want to try and read at the beginning of the month, since neither of these readathons cover those first part of the month. So yeah, there are 3 prompts. One is actually not a book prompt, and that is make a fall themed drink or pastry to bring Halloween to spring. I'm probably going to do something kind of appley, because apples do kind of make me think of autumn and, cinnamon, and yeah, I'll do some sort of apple dessert type thing, I think. We'll see. Maybe a pie, or yeah, we'll see. But non-book prompt. Okay, easy enough. So there's 2 book prompts. The first is read a book with pink or yellow on the cover. For this one, I've chosen The Whisper Man by Alex North. And this one, as you can see from here, has yellow on the cover. At least I believe this is the UK edition. I have this on my Kindle and this is the cover that there is. So it also, I could also use it to cover off the second prompt, which is read a backlist thriller or horror book. Because yeah, it's a backlist one, guys, it's backlist. It came out a few years ago, but it wasn't like this year or last year, so I'm counting it as backlist. So minimum I have to read this book. I will get to another book in a moment for that other prompt, but as long as I finish this, I would complete the readathon, which is, you know, the aim. That is the aim. So the synopsis of this one. So after the sudden death of his wife, Tom Kennedy believes a fresh start will help him and his young son, Jake Heel. A new beginning, a new house, a new town, Featherbank. But Featherbank has a dark past. 20 years ago, a serial killer abducted and murdered 5 residents. Until Frank Carter was finally caught, he was nicknamed the Whisper Man for he would lure his victims out by whispering at their windows at night. Just as Tom and Jake settle into their new home, a young boy vanishes. His disappearance bears an unnerving resemblance to Frank Carter's crimes, reigniting old rumours that he preyed with an accomplice. Now detectives Amanda Beck and Pete Wills must find a boy before it's too late, even if that means Pete has to revisit his old foe in prison, the Whisper Man. And then Jake begins acting strangely. He hears a whispering at his window. So this one, I have heard so many good things about the Whisper Man, so I'm super excited to get to it. It's one I've been wanting to read for absolute ages, and it's another one I can tick off on my Kindle TBR, guys, because, you know, it's a little bit out of hand. I'm not gonna lie. My Kindle has a lot of books that I've not read. Okay, so that'd be really good if I can get this one read, tick it off, and like I said, I've heard great things, so I'm super excited to read it. And so if I do have time for the second prompt of read a backlist thriller or horror book, yeah, for this one I've chosen The Silent Patient. Again, I think it came out around about the same time as The Whisper Man, and it's another one that people are always talking about. I know the author released The Madians last year, which I have in my Kindle, not read, but I heard that there's some spoilers for The Silent Patient, so I do want to read this one first before I get to that other one. So the synopsis of this one: Alicia Bernerson's life is seemingly perfect. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer. She lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. Alicia's refusal to talk or give away any kind of explanation turns domestic tragedy into something far grander, a mystery that captures the public imagination and casts Alicia into notoriety. The price of her art skyrockets, and she, the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids and spotlight at The Grove, a secure forensic unit in North London. Theo Faber is a criminal psychotherapist who has waited a long time for the opportunity to work with Alicia. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband takes him down a twisting path into his own motivations, a search for the truth that threatens to consume him. So this is a psychological thriller, and like I said, I have heard good things about it, so I really do want to get to it if I can in those 4 days. But like I said, as long as I read The Whisper Man, we'll be good, guys, we'll be good, okay? So those are the readathon books that I have chosen. There's a few others that, like, you know, I would like to get to if I can. So for April, Chloe reads books. She hosts a monthly book club, alternating between non-fiction kind of true crime and dark kind of fiction, dark horror thriller fiction. So it's the fiction month in April. She's chosen The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, which I've not read a Karen Slaughter book yet, and I really do want to get into her thrillers. I've heard good things about them. So I think the dates that they're reading in the Discord, that they're reading them all together, is early April, so you know that would fill that gap when I don't have a readathon. So I don't have a copy yet, but I could get a copy from the library. I saw that there is one available, so I need to see if this book is going to work for me at the time. I need to see how I'm feeling, because I've been really weird reading mood in March, and I haven't even finished my March TBR, guys. So I would like to try and get to this if I can. So this one: 2 girls are forced into the woods at gunpoint. One runs for her life, one is left behind. 28 years ago, Charlotte and Samantha Quinn's happy small-time family life was torn apart by a terrifying attack on their family home. It left their mother dead. It left their father, Pikesville's notorious defence attorney devastated, and it left the family fractured beyond repair, consumed by secrets from that terrible night. 28 years later, Charlotte has followed in her father's footsteps to become a lawyer herself, the ideal good daughter. But when violence comes to Pikeville again, and a shocking tragedy leaves the whole town traumatised, Charlotte is plunged into a nightmare. Not only is she the first witness on the scene, but it's a case that unleashes the terrible memories she spent so long trying to suppress. Because the shocking truth about that crime that destroyed her family nearly 30 years ago won't stay buried forever. So yeah, it sounds really good. I always hear good things about Karen Slaughter's books, so I would love to try and read this one at the start of the month and try and get that copy from the library. So the next one I would like to try and get to in April is Pachenko by Min Jin Lee, and Gem from Gem of Books did an announcement of like a read along in April to read this. She really loves this book, and I've had this on my Kindle for absolute ages. So it is one that I want to get to, and I am trying to read a little bit more translated fiction. But I have heard good things about this. Everyone seems to really like it when they read it. It is a little bit of a chunker. I believe it's just short of 500 pages, so it is a big one, so let's see if I have the time to get to it this month. But this one, it takes place in the early 1900s. Teenage Sunja, the adored daughter of a crippled fisherman, falls for a wealthy stranger at the seashore near a home in Korea. He promises her the world, but when she discovers she is pregnant and that her lover is married, she refuses to be bought. Instead, she accepts an offer of marriage from a gentle, sickly minister passing through on his way to Japan. But her decision to abandon her home and to reject her son's powerful father sets off a dramatic saga, and that will echo down through the generations. Richly told and profoundly moving, Pachenko's a story of love, sacrifice, ambition and loyalty. From bustling street markets to the halls of Japan's finest universities to the Pachenko parlours of the criminal underworld, Lee's complex and passionate characters, strong and stubborn women, devoted sisters and sons, fathers shaken by moral crises, and survive and thrive against the indifferent arc of history. So it sounds really good, guys. It does sound really good. I do want to try and get to it if I can, but like I said, I'm trying to read less, and I'm very aware that I have a lot of books on my TBR already, so we'll see how it goes, because I do need to study that Italian, guys, and maybe try and read some Italian books if I can. But yes, those are all the books that I would love to get to in April. Let me know if you've read any of them, if you've taken part of any of the readathons, because I love seeing other people's TBRs, etc. So let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye! So shiny. The time soon gathers round her and there's another two. There's a two. What's wrong with me today? Now for this one I've chosen so many bloopers. The Good Doctor. She's chosen The Good Doctor. She's chosen The Good Doctor by totally threw me off. And I just pulled a hair out of my head. Broke my ring, guys. What's wrong with me today?